Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Burton Borders. And after that terrible, shambolic performance, especially in the first half against Southampton, emotion took over, and I was calling for the head of Graham Potter. But I've had this time to sit down, evaluate things, and I'm gonna give the twos and fro's of whether he should stay in his job.
Welcome to the Burton Borders. Ain't got no time for no stallers, yeah.
We are the risers, we're not the fallers. Our channel is growing wider and taller.
Yeah, we're here to give you the news about your dear beloved Blues, yeah.
So if you like this YouTube channel, like, subscribe and turn on that bell.
Yeah.
Right, so after a defeat, it's always, we always get a bit of emotional, and results haven't been great. Let's face it, we've not been good. 2 wins in 12 games. It's not good enough for a team like Chelsea, even though we're in a rebuild stage. But I said, I'm gonna take a step back from my views on at the weekend and do some proper homework, do some proper evaluating of the situation, and just to see whether he is in fact the right man for the job or not. So I've compared him with 2 other managers who have been in similar situations when they took over at the clubs that they're at now. So Jurgen Klopp and we got Mikel Arteta, because the comparisons are pretty similar. Yeah, so both Liverpool and Arsenal at the time were both in need of a rebuild. Their squads were growing stale. They hadn't competed for the league for Liverpool for many years, and if you look at Arsenal now, they haven't competed for the league title for 10-15 years now, since they last won it under Arsene Wenger. So yeah, so you could say that the similarities are the same. Both teams were cup teams, just like Chelsea are now. Liverpool won the odd cup here and there. They even won the Champions League, and Arsenal have won FA Cups. No Champions League for Arsenal, I'm afraid, but they have won a few cups. So so that's similar to what we are going through at the moment. So Liverpool, in the case of Jurgen Klopp, I think he took over Liverpool on the 20th of October, I believe, and with Arteta, he took over on the 20th of December for Arsenal. So it was midway through the season. No pre-seasons at their clubs, so they had to sort of navigate the rest of the season before having a pre-season. So here are because I'm doing this at the right time, actually, because I'm looking at the first 18 games that Arteta had for Arsenal, the first 18 games that Klopp had, and these are league games, and I'm looking at the 17 league games that Graham Potter has had at Chelsea. So let's go to Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp, in his first 18 games, he won 7, drew 5, and lost 6. In that time, Liverpool scored 30 goals and they conceded 29 goals. So they were scoring goals, but they were the way that Jurgen Klopp likes to play with that high line, they were finding difficulty in keeping clean sheets, and it didn't help with the personnel that they had. People like Karius was there, Hippier, was he still there? Their defence wasn't great at the time, so only when he started to get his own personnel in the likes of Van Dijk and Alisson, that you saw an improvement in keeping clean sheets and defending better. So if we look at Arteta now, in his first 18 games, he had 8 wins, 6 draws and 4 losses. So that's better than what Jurgen Klopp had. And he had 26 goals in that time, conceded 18. And going back to Liverpool, they kept 5 clean sheets in that period. Arsenal kept 7. So let's fast forward now to our man Graham Potter and his 17 games, and how has he got on in the first 17 matches at Chelsea. So he's won 5, drawn 6 and lost 6, scoring 16 goals and conceding 11 and 7 clean sheets. So similar clean sheets to the amount of Arsenal. So if you look at the comparison between the three of them, it's not a lot of difference in it, because when you think 2 wins difference to Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp had 2 more wins. Arteta had 3 more wins. So it's not as good as theirs, but it's kind of similar. But if we drill deeper into what's been going on, the first 3 games for Jurgen Klopp, first 4 games, they drew 2, 1-1. Ironically, it was against us, and they lost 1. So they only got picked up 5 points out of the possible 12 in his first 4 games. Then you saw some improvement. If you look at Arteta now, he drew 2 and lost 1. Again, it was against Chelsea in that side. So he picked up 2 points. He picked up 2 points out of the possible 9. But if you look at our manager now, and Graham Potter, he won his first 3 games. So his manager bounce and everything else, we had 9 points. And in that period, we scored 7 goals and only conceded 1. But this is where it sort of starts to fall apart now, because after that, in his next 12 games, we've only won 2 of those games. 2 of those games we've drawn 6 and lost 6. Or not 12, 14 games, sorry. The next 14 games, he's 6 defeats, 6 draws, and only 2 victories. Yeah, and so what's even more alarming of what's happened at Chelsea since those first 3 games where we scored 7 goals, the next 14 games have only yielded 9 goals, 9 paltry goals in those next few games. So we scored 2 less in those 9 games as we did in the first 3. And we've tightened the ship a bit of late, keeping a few clean sheets, but we've still conceded quite a few goals, including the 4-1 defeat against Brighton. So what's that saying? We've digressed. Whereas you saw the likes of Klopp and Arteta improving, what we've seen under Potter is a digression. We've digressed in performances. And what's strange, which is a bit weird, because I thought it was a bit different. He started off with the 3 at the back, and then since we've been moving to 4 at the back, it hasn't gone well. So maybe moving to 3 at the back, is that an option to go back to? And he was teaching them tactical flexibility, and since he's gone back to basics as well, that's when we started to lose. So that's not great, and that's the thing. I think that's why a lot of our fan base are a bit twitchy about him at the moment, because we have not seen an upward trajectory with the way that we are performing. If anything, as I said, results have dipped, and they've dipped alarmingly. So today the talk is that he's not going away anytime soon. The board are going to be sticking with him. They believe in him. They're going to hold their nerve. And I'm not going to be screaming and shouting and saying, "Why are they doing it? Why don't they sack him?" Whatever. I'll see how it goes. But what I have got to say is, how long are they going to hold their nerve for? If he can start picking up wins, then I'll be happy. I'm not going to be screaming Potter out, Potter out. I've always said for a long while that I just want to see the results improve and the performances improve. We're in a results business, and I've been always consistent with that message. We're in a results business, and we need to start seeing results on the pitch. We can't go any longer with defeat after defeat after defeat. So although they've given out this message now that he's going to be they still believe in him for the long term, if we do not start to get some results in the next 3 or 4 games, then I do believe that his position will become untenable. Because the fans are not going to stand for it. You saw the dissent and in the crowd at them, and the social media is always has blown off already, and the match going fans are not liking it at the minute. So if he needs to start winning, and he needs to start winning now. And that's the only way I think he'll be able to stay in his job, if he starts winning now. I have sympathy with the guy. I've said it before. I have sympathy with the fact that he's not had a strong squad to work with. And even now that everyone's come back, You know, it's a case of he needs to be strong. He needs to be saying, look, I'm going to stick with this starting 11. If you look at Ten Hag, what he's doing over at Manchester United, he's got a big squad as well, but he's trying to get players to work together. So he's got a squad there where he's going to be working with that squad, and he's going to be. That's why you're seeing the players getting used to each other. And there's another thing I just want to talk about just before I go as well, and it's to do with Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest at the beginning of the season, they practically had 20 new players come in, but their manager has integrated those players into the team. So it's not a fact that he's got a lot of different players to work with. So he's got to start getting results, and he's got to start getting results now. Before I go, there's an interesting independent video that I watched today by Tifforil, I think it's called, and I'll put the link in the description below, where he kind of explains what is going on with the Potter situation. And just on a final note as well, his expected points per game is -4, and a lot of people who've been calling for Tuchel, the similar expected points from December till now was -7. So would it have been a lot different under Tuchel? Maybe not. Maybe would we have gone on a bad run? Probably not. But for those who are saying that we'd have been challenging for top 4, I don't think so. I don't know. We'll have to, only time. We can't roll back the time, but it's not as clear cut as that. So, where am I? I'm still on the fence. I'm still more inclined for him to go, unless results pick up. If results pick up, then I'll be prepared to stick with him. But his time's running out, and we just cannot be getting these poor results week in, week out. You know, something's got to change. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Stick your comments in the section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you'll be notified every time I make a new video.